So first we're going to be starting off by priming our face with the Beauty Counter Adaptive Moisture Lotion, and then going in over our lips with the lip conditioner in the flavor Peppermint. Next we're going to be going in with some concealer. We are using the shade Fair today just because I wanted to really lighten up my under eyes and all that. So we are just using a very light layer of it. I know it doesn't look like it, but it's a very sheer to medium buildable coverage concealer. So I'm just putting some on before the foundation to give me a nice base color, and then we'll go in with the foundation. As you can see, I'm putting foundation on my face right now. I don't use a ton of this. I just kind of squirt it on my face, and then if you rub it around with your fingers, it moves the product around really nicely instead of being soaked up so much by a brush or a sponge. So I typically move it around with my fingers, and then I will go back in with the sponge and blend it out a little bit, because then that way I get a better coverage. And you can always go back in with a second or third layer to kind of build up this foundation coverage. I like mine to be a little more sheer. As long as my redness is covered, I'm good with my freckles showing. So that's what I did today. Next, I'm going to go back in with some concealer, so that way we are really canceling out those under eye bags and any acne that I have. And then right away, you're going to set it with some translucent setting powder, so that way it doesn't crease throughout the day. If you use your finger to blend out your concealer, it's also going to just kind of move the product instead of being so soaked up into a sponge, and then you can go blend it out with a sponge. But if you move it around with your finger first, just like with the foundation, it's going to get a better coverage. I'm also going to be setting my eyelids under my eyes and around my nose, anywhere I really put concealer, so that way it does stay matte and does not move throughout the day. Next, you just kind of want to kick away any of that leftover dust that's on your face and make sure that it's all blended in. And then I'm going to go in with my MAC Pressed Foundation Powder underneath my eyes and anywhere where I had redness, so that way it really cancels it out. Next, I'm just going to make sure my brush is clean before I use it, so I'm just using my color switch and just rubbing my brush around dry on this and making sure that all of the color is off. I do typically clean my brush off between each shadow that I use, especially if I need it to blend it out, because then I don't always have to dirty up so many brushes. So I'm just putting a warm brown on 2/3 of my lid and blending it up into the crease. I'm using the shade Canyon and Sienna and Soft Peach in the crease today from this palette. And then I'm going to be going all over the lid with a beige shimmery tone, and it's called Cashmere from this palette. And then on the brow bone, you just want to put a nice soft white on the brow bone, or just a little bit lighter than your skin tone. Mine that I am using is Eggshell from the palette. I'm just making sure everything is blended, and then I'm going to be taking some of those soft brown shades and running them underneath my lashes on my lower lash line just to give me some natural shadow back to my lower lashes. And then that means I don't have to put any eyeliner down there, so it's not harsh and it's very soft. I'm also going to be taking that shimmery shade that I use and putting it on the inner corner of my eye around the tear duct to make it look like I'm very awake. On an angled brush, I'm taking the shade Espresso and I'm putting it on like you would put eyeliner on. It's going to give it a really smoked out, soft look, and at the end of the day, it's very appropriate for any activity that you'd be doing, especially work, and it's not harsh at all. Now I'm taking bronzer in the shade number 1. It's our contour shade, and I'm putting it on the hollows of my cheek, my temple, up onto my forehead, the sides of my nose, and on my jawline. So take it like a general rule of a 3 on your face and do it on both sides. It's going to make you look very warm and put those natural shadows back into your face. Now I'm going to be using the blush in the shade Date. Tap it on, and then I'm going to take the brush that I use for my bronzer and blend it out. So that way it's very seamless, and since these blushes are so pigmented, it kind of blends it out without having too much blush. If I need to, I will take a fluffy brush and kind of blend it out even more, just so it's all seamless. Now I'm using their highlighter in the shade Halo, and I'm going to put it anywhere where there's high peaks on my face. So my cheekbones, my nose, my forehead, my chin, and my cupid's bow. I'm going to be spraying my face with a number 2 spray. It's a plumping anti-aging spray to make sure that it absorbs any excess powder and make sure my makeup stays all day long. I put mascara on off camera, and now I'm filling in my brows in the shade Medium. For my lips, I'm going to be using the sheer lipstick in the shade Lily, and then over top of it, I'm going to be using their lip gloss in the shade Bare Shimmer. Now I'm going to show you how to make it go from daytime to nighttime just by fixing a few things and just making it a quick look. The first thing I'm going to do is wipe off my lipstick because we will be changing that. You're also going to want to freshen up any bronzer or blush that may have gone, or highlight, just to kind of freshen them up. If your foundation is moved, you're going to want to touch that up too. I'm just going to darken up my eyeshadow. I'm using the shade Espresso in my crease very, very lightly. This is the same shade that we used as liner previously, and I'm just going to kind of blend it around on my outer corner and into my crease, and also take that on the underneath where we put that soft brown shadow, but now we're going to use a dark brown shadow. I'm going to revamp the highlight on my brow bone, and I'm going to go in with the shade Gilded. It's a gold glitter on my lid and on my inner tear duct. That way it's going to bring it a little more vamp and make it into a nighttime look. I'm going to be going in with liquid liner today and doing a wing eyeliner look. This is totally up to you if you want to do this. You can leave it just how it is. You can put the liner on just with a line, or you can make it a wing. It is up to you. I prefer a wing on myself. Next, I'm going to line my waterline with liner. This is literally just going to stay on the waterline. It's not going to go below the lashes. And I'm going to be using a brown shade. It's going to be less harsh. If you want to use black, you can go ahead and use it. But brown really makes my eyes pop and is just less harsh on myself. This is the point where you're going to revamp your brows, your bronzer, your highlight, your blush, whatever you need to do. I did darken up my bronzer and I used the shade number 2 with my bronzer. And then for my highlight, I used the same highlight, but I also went in with the shade Cherry Blossom in the palette and used that on my cheekbones, my nose, and my Cupid's bow. I'm going to be going in with this berry colored lip in the shade Twilight on my lips. This is optional. I do like to use a bold lip when I am going out, but at the end I do give you another lip option with this nighttime look, and that is the shade Backstage. And that's it. Now you guys know how to take it from day to night with your makeup. Thank you all for watching.